Going to give a moment and see if we are indeed live. And if everybody's going to be coming in here. Hello, hello. When you come in, just say good morning. It's Sunday. I used to call it Sunday the sleep-in day. I loved Sundays. Now I don't have a sleep-in day. Good morning, Sally. Good morning, Bobby on Periscope. You see, we're getting people that are finding us. We just move that out of my way. Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Deirdre. Hello, hello. So how's everybody today? I went scavenger hunting on Facebook. I thought, let me just see what's going on. Let me see if anybody's putting anything that's helpful out on Facebook instead of griping and complaining and, all the newsy stuff. And sure enough, I found Sally De La Rosa. And Sally, I loved your post that you did this morning, that you knew that great things were going to happen. And I thought, how awesome. Every time I go on to our group, Angelic River Family, I see the most beautiful posts by Sally. And Sally, you are a bright light out in the world. Thank you. Thank you for putting positive out. And Deirdre, I see your posts as well, sharing information with us and letting us know that, it's not all doom and gloom out there. There are people that still see the bright light. There are people that still see the stars, that still want us to focus on what's good. And there is good. Whatever we focus on expands. So if you're wanting more joy, if you're wanting more positive, let's focus on that. It doesn't mean that we bury our heads and we don't know what else is going on. It just means that is what we choose to surround ourselves by. We choose to see the good in the world and the good in people. It's the same when we look at a person. We can find good in them, or we can find things to criticize and judge, right? With anybody. But what are we focusing on? What are we wanting to look at in life? I choose happy. I choose joy. I choose to say, yes, there is good in everybody. I don't care who it is. There's good in all of us. And that good is inside of us. It's that spark of the divine that's in each of us. Good morning, Gabby. Good morning, Colleen Johnson. And thank you for sharing, Deirdre. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Joanne. Sally, tired? Happy it's kind of the last day of the teaching on my days off. But today I start my new afternoon coffee hour. We'll be talking about current issues we are experiencing. Awesome, Sally. So as I was scavenger hunting on Facebook, I saw Carol Ann Cross, who posted that she found a letter from her mom from September of 2005, and Carol Ann's mom is no longer in the physical. So she knew that finding that letter meant that her mom was giving her a message. And her mom sounded like a really, really beautiful person. So I'll read the poem that Carol Ann shared with us that was in her find. And let me just say good morning to Jean L'Oreal. Hi, beautiful. We missed you yesterday. And good morning, Prachetta. I'm hoping that you're doing well this morning. Prachetta, I hope that you had a really good day and good energy there where you are. And has Pritchard left on his travels yet? So we can remember to lift him up if he hasn't. Just let us know when he'll be on the road. And Deirdre, we need to realize that we are all magnificent light. Yes, we are. Thank you. Thank you, Deirdre, for that reminder. Okay, so Carol Ann Cross said that her mom always loved poetry, and she wrote this out in her letter to Carol Ann back in 2005. It's called Little Jesus by Francis Thompson. Little Jesus, wast thou shy once, just so small as I? And what did it feel like to be out of heaven and just like me? Didst thou sometimes think of there and ask where all the angels were? I love that. I love that line. Sometimes we think, that we're all alone in the world, but we can always look at everybody that's in a physical being and know that we all go through the same things. We all wonder sometimes, where are the angels? Where is our spiritual help? And sometimes I get there. I used to get there a lot more than I do now. But sometimes if there's something going on, I'm like, okay, where's everybody at? Where's my helpers? Where's the angels telling me what to do in this situation, or at least giving me some guidance of what to do? Because right now, don't we all need more guidance? Don't we all need to know that anytime we need them, they're there for us? And they are. But when we're in those moments of where is everybody, we're not listening. We're shouting out, I need help. We're shouting out, somebody please throw me a lifeline here. And if we would just be still and listen, they're definitely there. They're always there to help us. And it's like Sally's post, believing, trusting, knowing that something great is going to happen, and holding that thought in our minds. Something great is going to happen. And when we look for it, we're going to find those miracles. We're going to find them. It may not happen in the exact moment that we think it should, right? Our expectations. So let me see if I can find any other goodies. Is there anything good that we can focus on today that people are shouting out and sharing with us? And if you all have something, put it on there. Put it in the comments. Let's lift each other up with some good news and good encouraging words today. Let's see who came in. Becky. Good morning, Becky. Thank you for showing up. And Gabby says it's going to be 99 here tomorrow. Whoops. I just clicked off the chat. That wasn't smart. Okay, where is it? Where'd you go? It's going to be 99 tomorrow. Not even summer yet. Wow. And Gabby, you love Carol Ann. I do too. That woman is amazing. And Gabby says, I did have a why moment with Ruth and Elaine. I think especially when we receive news, something like that, like a death, or that somebody has COVID or whatever, we need a new name. Sorry, I sidetracked. Whenever we receive that news or watch somebody go through something, yeah, it's our normal human thing to say, why? Why? When I went through my experience with breast cancer last year, I didn't ask why, but my thought and my question to the angels was, what is this all about? What is this all about in my journey? So I think instead of asking to be shown the purpose of that happening, let's ask for, what am I supposed to know? What am I supposed to process and do with this thing that's in my face here right now? And when I do that, when I ask for clarity, I always get clarity. If I just say, why did that happen? Then, it's almost like I'm distrusting my path. I'm not having that the faith that everything is working perfectly. And it is. It is. Sometimes we don't see that perfection, and we want to see it, don't we? We want to see the perfection in things. Good morning, Wendy Roberts. How are you, darling, over in the UK? It's good to see you on here this morning. Joanne Castillo from Florida, good morning to you. Sally says, I can only imagine what some of our members are experiencing when they lose person after person. The significance of losing your spouse or soulmate is on my mind today. How we begin to move past this. Deep sigh, I know. How do we begin to be there for them? Oh, good question, Sally. How do we be there for them when they're facing so much loss, and not just death? This is a big loss for all of us. It's not that we're doing this alone. We're not even doing this in a cluster. We're doing this globally. So how do we keep lifting each other up when things are in our face, when things are showing up, when things are just seemingly bad news after bad news? And that was why I wanted to find some good news. So that's what I looked for. I looked for, okay, is there any good news? Is there anything that we can look at and we can say, oh, wow, look, that person's sharing an experience. That person has been through something, and now we can be happy with what they're showing us. We can rejoice in the joy. If somebody has something positive to share, we can jump on that bandwagon and say, look, there's still good going on. There has to be a balance. We can't just focus on what's going on bad. We focused on politics for so long. We focused on what we wanted, what we didn't want. Where's our focus at now? Are we back to the numbers? How many numbers? How many deaths? How many people are affected? What are we focusing on as a collective? Individually, we can find that good news. We can look at it, but are we sharing the good news? The bad news, the stuff that we don't want to know about, that we don't want to keep in our face, is showing up everywhere. Where's the good news? Where's the stuff that's happening that people are doing out in the world to make a difference? Why aren't we seeing that in our face just as much as we are the things that we don't want to see? Pat Moss, good afternoon to you. And Becky says, just be there. Being lonely and sad is very hard, but when you have someone there, it's a little easier. It truly is. And Becky, it's so true. We don't even have to say anything. We don't have to have the right words to be there for somebody. We don't have to try to make everything better. The only thing that's needed is for us to be there, to just show up for somebody. All right, so let's see what else is going on. Wendy, you're not working, you're not on as much as you're working, and you've been depressed. Wendy, I'm so glad you showed up this morning. I'm so glad you're here with the family that loves you so much. We are a family of love, and we've shown every morning that we are here for whoever comes in. We're here for those that we miss that don't come in. We're just here. And we've been here almost 8 months solid every day. And next Saturday, we're going to celebrate that. We are going to celebrate. We're going to come together. Anyone that wants to come on Zoom, come on Zoom, and let's share love. Let's share with each other, and let's share what this last 8 months has meant for us as a family. And Jean says, my dear friend who has leukemia and COVID is doing fine. She wanted me to thank you all for your prayers. Thank you, beautiful family. Jean, thank you for sharing that good news. We love good news. I was going to say earlier, I think we need a new word instead of COVID. It's had such a negative meaning, hasn't it? And I've been talking lately about how COVID is energy. It's an energy that's out there. And we have been shooting negative at it. We've been pushing it and resisting it and saying, we don't want you anywhere near us. We don't want to even have you in our life. So we need a new word so that we're not constantly focused on that negative connotation. It's an energy. Is transmuted into a positive, beautiful energy. So if you could rename this energy that has been destructive, that has been scary, and you wanted to give it a beautiful name that would mean something powerfully, amazingly brilliant, what would you come up with? What would you call it if you wanted to call it something? And we say, we've got this energy in our world and it needs love. It needs to be transmuted into positive energy. And we can do that. We can do that with our minds, with our intention, with our beautiful heart that accepts and loves everybody and everything. What is your new name that you would give it? Let's name it today. All right, so Joanne says, and I can feel your strength you have gained from this experience. Joanne, I have had so many not so great experiences in my lifetime. Every experience was a learning process. In the beginning, before I really understood my path and before I really understood spirituality, I would get angry. I would throw things. I would say, God, you've forsaken me. Where were you? Where were you, God, when I went through all of this? Where were you when my kidneys failed? Where were you when I almost died in a fall? Where were you? I used to do that. I used to question big time. It's normal. It's a normal human response when we look at all the deaths that are happening from something, when we look at things that have happened in our human existence throughout the years, all of the things that have taken place. But now, instead of, where are you, God? I say, thank you, God, for whatever I'm growing and learning from this, wherever this is taking me in my experience, wherever my soul is going through this, wherever that next path is, that next experience that I'm going to be teaching and sharing about this. It's a learning process. It doesn't happen overnight. And many people never get to that point of not questioning the why, not questioning God, not saying, where were you? But we all have choices. We all have options. When we go through those fires of life, we're going to handle them one way or another. We're going to do the resistance and the anger and sadness, or we're going to just go inside and question, what am I learning? What was this all about? What is this all about? That was my question that I put out there last year. What is this all about? And what am I supposed to do with this now? And I sat down with the angels and I got so much strength from them. I got so much insight, and they really are there for us. Anytime we ask, they're there for us. Okay. Becky says, I couldn't have made it through without you all. I think we all feel that same way, Becky. This last 8 months, it was a trial by fire. And how did we handle it? What did we do through that time, through that 8 months? Oh, Gabby has some good news. Yay. Let me see if I can put some chapter. My lips are so dry. Okay, Gabby has some good news. It's harvest time here for the farmers, and the grain receivable place has offered me a job spearing trucks for sampling over 3,000 Australian dollars for 6 days a week. It's only for a few weeks, but that will pay for me to come see you guys. Thank you, universe. Gabby, I would just fall over just to know that you are definitely going to be here. I love you so much. And I'm just amazed that the universe has shown up. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for sharing that good news with us this morning. I love you. And yes, Wendy says that's amazing. It is so amazing. And Hope just came in. Good morning, Hope. And yeah, it's going to be long hours for a few weeks, but yeah, that'll definitely be worth the money for sure. And then pocket some of that money so that you can come over and be right here with us. I love that. Joanne says, I tell you how I have, after losing 4 family members last month, 2 to COVID, 1 to a heart attack, age 44, and 1 to cancer. I believe that they are okay. I have faith in my Creator. Joanne, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. And we're so very sorry that you no longer have them in the physical, but I'm so happy that you realize that they are okay and that you still have them. It's just a different way of communicating with them, a different way of experiencing their beautiful energy. Thank you for sharing your faith. And Hope says, good afternoon, my angelic river family, sending love and light to you all. All is well with me. Have a hospital appointment tomorrow just to check that my home dialysis is going well, and it is. Beautiful, Hope. I'm so glad that you're able to do that and be there with your son. It's all working out the way it's supposed to work out, isn't it? My sister Billy, good morning to you. And Joanne says, I was struggling really bad with losing my cousin who was 44. He was my best mate. He came to me and told me he was going traveling. And when I woke up in the middle of the night, I heard, look at your clock. And it was 4:04. And that is his mom's birthday date. And I was visited by archangels and angels. And now I'm at peace. Joanne, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And let's see what else we got. Charlie, good morning. And Sally says, that's my topic for today. Spirit let me know that this was going to be spoken of today. Awesome. Okay, Stacy says, For the first time, I don't know how to help my best friend. I've helped her through divorce and life issues over the last 23 years, but the loss of her grandchild is something all I can do is be there for. I don't have the words. You're right, Teri. Just being there is so helpful. That's it, just knowing that there's somebody else that's standing with you. And I've said many times, I believe our motto here, right here on this morning show is, I'm standing with you. I'm standing with you. Whatever it is you're going through, I'm going to be right there by your side. Okay, so what else we got? Becky says, words aren't needed, just love. Yeah, it's so true. All right. Stacy, I call it the pause. We have paused. So we're renaming this thing that's become to be known as COVID. COVID has such a negative connotation. So we are going to rename it today. Wow, I've missed a lot of comments. So we're renaming it this energy so that when we refer to it, we can refer to it as something something positive, because we can transmute energy. And let's do that. Let's transmute it to something positive. And good morning to Ronald. Ronald is on Periscope, and so is Joseph. And Joseph is from Spain. Good morning from Spain. Good morning, Marianne. And Kathy Hand. Kathy, just wanted to say hello before I get in the shower. Busy day ahead, and happy to have both my kids here safe and sound for an early Thanksgiving celebration. Wonderful. And Gabby says, I watched chanting this afternoon because I was coming home from the farm this morning. Looked like you were having a blast. Oh my gosh, we have so much fun on that chanting hour. It's amazing how our family just lifts each other up, and that beautiful chant that we do at the end when we do Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, it just lifts all of us and takes us to a different place. And Joanne says, self-love, I would recall it as it's been a journey of self-discovery. Yeah. Friendsgiving. I know, I love that term, Charlie. I heard that for the first time yesterday, to have Friendsgiving. Hope says sheer bliss. So we're renaming COVID. What would you rename it? What would you call it? If you could give it a name that meant something beautiful and positive, what is that name that you would give it? Becky says a blessing. Gabby says the aquatic abyss, because they are beautiful but scary. The aquatic abyss, I like that. And Joanne says trust. Kathy, I saw yours. And Gabby, you're saving it all until they let you out. That's a good idea. All right. Tony Hidalgo, good morning, darling Tony. Tony, I think of you every day. My friend's little dog Trooper looks just like your little doggie that is in spirit now. And he's so amazing. He's like a person. He just comes up and looks at you with the eyes that say, I see you, I know you. It's so awesome. And hello to Hadar on Periscope. Good morning. And Sally, you dropped me on my head. Well, that may be karma, because when my sister was a little baby, I let her fall on her head. I think she got permanent damage from that. Uh, okay, Tammy Fisk is with us. Good morning. And no, guys, I don't speak Spanish. I apologize. I only speak English. So hopefully, if you're on here, you understand that we are here for love. We're a family that comes together every day to love each other. And Sally says, yes, we still have the relationships with our lost loved ones. It's just a different relationships. And once we accept that, and that we still have them, and that it's just a different way, then we can coincide with them very peacefully and know that they're always there loving us and pushing us forward and guiding us. I love that thought. I love that thought too, Sally. Thank you for that. Okay, Gabby says, I'm trying to think of happy things. I went to the car wash today and vacuumed out my car, pulled up right next to Zeus, an American bulldog, and he was in the dog wash. I got to play with him, the biggest, beautiful boy. Oh, how sweet. That's awesome. You're trying to transmute. Yeah, that's what we can do. When I first started this morning, I was reading things on Facebook that people had put on there. And Sally, you're the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Because you're always putting positive out. And thank you. Thank you for doing that. I'm going to see if anybody else came on while I was doing all of that. I don't see our Erica this morning. Who are we missing? We're missing a few people. So let's call some people in. Let's call in our Marietta to accept, align, allow. Joanne, you put your Christmas tree up so the kids feel happy. Awesome. And Sally, here's a giggle for you. We are on our way to the center, and while texting with you, I suddenly felt weight in my lap, and I cradled the source of the weight like a fur baby, only to look down, and there was only a spirit puppy in my lap. Oh, that's so sweet. I love it when they come. Mine jump on the bed. Every so often, I'll just be laying there awake, and I feel the weight of them jumping like my cats used to do. They would jump on the bed, and I knew they were there to snuggle up with me. Okay. And Gabby says, how fun. Maybe you're getting a real one. I don't know if you could handle any more fur babies, Sally. And Stacy says, the gala at work yesterday was fun. I love people watching. And as you can only imagine, there were a lot of different personalities there. I bet there were, and I hope they were all wearing their masks and staying safe. There's been a lot of gatherings lately, and I just read when I turned my phone on, I saw that there's over 200,000 people traveling for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, I don't want to be out in crowds. I don't want to be around so many other people right now when it's time for us to really pay attention to what's going on. And we don't have our new name yet. So come on, guys, help me out here. If you could give a new name to this energy, to this force that we've been calling COVID, what would you call it? What is a name that we can refer to it as so that we're not constantly saying that name that has such a negative feeling to it? Okay, let's see. Deirdre says, I call it the gateway to the new earth. Okay, I like gateway. I like that word. It's got a really positive feel to it. What else we got? And when you all are typing in Spanish, I really don't know what it means. It's not going to let me see what the translation is either, so my apologies. Prachetta says, thanks so much for yesterday. You're so welcome, Prachetta. And I hope that that cleared up the energy in your home by going in and just bringing them to the light. And that's what we do when there's a stuck energy, when there's a spirit that is earthbound and doesn't know they can move on to the light. We go in and invite them to go to the light. And Jean says, there is no pain like the pain of losing a child. When I lost my granddaughter, I alternated between deep sadness and anger. Your presence and love mean the world. That way you help carry her burden. You're doing just the right thing, Stacy. Yeah, just being there. That's it. Okay, so I don't see any more names yet. Come on, y'all can get more creative than this. Open up that sacral chakra. Okay, so Joanne says, I can think of something that always makes me laugh. I was dating someone years ago when I was 22. I stayed over and forgot to bring my toothbrush, so I rushed to the bathroom for the toothpaste to rub into my teeth, and to my horror, it was denture fixture. I couldn't open my mouth. Oh, the shame I felt. Now that's funny, Joanne. Thank you for sharing that. And Sally says, I feel strongly it was my little Josie girl. No more fur babies right now. And Stacy says, yes, all had masks on yesterday. Plus, my manager gave me the job of walking around selling raffle tickets. So I was outside the whole time. The weather was beautiful. I am so glad. Stacy says, we could call it the 2020 shift. Yeah, I like that. The 2020 gateway. Okay. Oh, you have thunderstorms now. Oh boy. I love the Florida thunderstorms if I'm inside. I don't like them outside, but definitely inside. They are really beautiful to watch. And Gabby says, we have a place here, all 4 seasons in one day. It's called Melbourne. I've always wanted to go to Melbourne, Australia. I used to live in Melbourne, Florida, and I could imagine that I was in Australia. And Prachetta says, yes, ma'am, Prachir and I are feeling very bright and nice. What age would be the older gentleman? The older gentleman that was in your place, I got that he was late 80s. Prachetta, if that helps you, I'm not sure exactly, but that's what it felt like late 80s, approaching 90. So hopefully that helps. He didn't want to move on. He was very stubborn. He was determined he was going to be there, but Archangel Michael said, no, you're not allowed. You can't be there. Joanne says, me and my mom stood under a double rainbow that made us happy. First time I've ever seen one, and it was an amazing experience. I've seen a few of them. The last one I saw, I was still living in Florida, and it had rained and rained and rained. And then the sun came out, and I thought, there must be a rainbow somewhere. And I opened my front door, and it was right there. I remember I took a picture of it, and I took a video of it as well and showed it on Facebook. It was just miraculous. Everybody in the place I live in South Florida saw that rainbow that day. It was just gorgeous. Okay, I don't see any more names. How are we going to rename this energy if y'all don't help? We're renaming COVID. Let's think of a really beautiful, positive name that we can give it, that when we say that word, it brings out joy inside instead of bringing up dread and fear. Let's find something that's just a beautiful, beautiful name. And that's what we'll refer to it as on this show instead of saying the dreaded name. It's kind of like when you don't want to speak someone's name that has done something that created a memory that was so bad, and even saying their name brings up that memory imprint. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? I have people like that if I even hear their name, it's like, oh no, oh no, there's that energy. So, and I refer to those as those that shall not be named. But if we could come up with a name so we're not constantly saying that word, and instead we say something that feels light and fresh and beautiful, then we can say that instead and help transmute that energy into love. This is what's needed, is to transmute it into love. The more love we pour into it, the more we are going to be lifted up. And when we're lifted up, our defenses are high, our immune systems are high. Okay, so let's see what else is going on. Stacy says, funny story. I went outside to stargaze with the hubby and our sons in our backyard. We turned off all the lights inside and out so we could get a better view. Well, the moon was giving a faint glow on the back patio, so I can't see in the dark as it is. I said, look, boys, 3 little baby frogs are sitting here. My son runs over and says, Mom, those aren't frogs. That is Snickers poop. Oh my God, I died laughing. Yeah, but wasn't it beautiful? We can see beauty in anything. That's a good point, Stacy. Island Girl on Periscope, good morning to you. We've got a lot of Periscope activity today. And Stacy says there have been tons of rainbows this week. God's promise. Yeah. Gabby says, I met a very Amazon-like woman a few months ago, and her name was I Am Rainbow. Standing under them would have been beautiful. Yeah, it is. And Sally said there was a time after a midsummer day's rainstorm that I was traveling with my daughter locally in town, and coming down the hill, I looked and there were multiple rainbows everywhere. I believe we counted 4 different rainbows in one after one sighting. Beautiful. And Prachetta, you felt the house so light today. I'm so glad. And how are you feeling, Prachetta? Because I know when we did that clearing, for those of you that don't understand what we're talking about, I did a clearing for Prachetta yesterday at her mom's house and identified some energy there that was hanging out and not feeling so good. So we escorted a little girl to the light, and the young man that was there also decided to leave. And then an older gentleman was being very stubborn, so Archangel Michael helped with him. But Prachetta was feeling some pain, and I could feel it in my neck and my shoulder, and it released when the energies went. So I'm just wondering how you're feeling today, Prachetta. And what else? Christina says, so Spike not be beautiful enough. No, I don't think Spike would get the positive response when we say that word. And Rick says, Jeremy Spud. Okay. Okay. Gabby says, what about Aurora? I love that. Aurora. And Joanne says, yes, I understand. Maybe call it transformation or the rose or the rainbow bridge. How about Aurora Rose? I like that. Y'all like Aurora Rose? We can rename that which shall not be named as Aurora Rose. So every time that we want to type it out, we would type that instead. And it brings up a beautiful energy, doesn't it? One of my things that I still want to do, I don't have a whole lot left on my bucket list, but one of the things I really want to do is to see the aurora borealis. I want to see those lights with my own eyes. I've seen so many pictures, so many videos. I've seen people do Facebook Live and show it, but I want to be right there in the energy of it. So that one really appeals to me. Gabby, thank you for that suggestion. And Joanne, can we combine them? Can we say Aurora Rose? For every time that we want to say the name of this virus, let's say that positive word to bring forth a beautiful energy. So anybody who wants to agree with that, um, let's do that. Let's just change it. Let's change it up. Let's do a shift. We have the power. We have the technology. We can do whatever we want to do. We create with our words. So when we say that word, um, does that bring up really good feelings for you to put that energy out there? Let's just see what your response is. And we'll do that. Anytime we want to say anything about this virus that is here, it's here. There's no denying what it's doing in our world. Let's give it a positive connotation and a positive energy for us to look at. And it is time for our prayer request. So anyone that wants to put in prayers for loved ones, prayers for yourself, let's do that this morning. And Stacy, when I say it, I see a rainbow. I love that. Okay, so that's, if nobody has any other suggestions, I say let's go with that. So anytime you want to refer to this virus that we have roaming around in our world, it is energy. It's an energy. Everything is energy. And we can transmute energy. So let's look at it with love. Let's look at it with wanting the very best possible for all of us. And if we say Aurora Rose, that has such a beautiful, beautiful connotation and energy to it. And every time I hear Aurora, I think of those beautiful northern lights. Okay, Joanne Castillo, prayers that we feel God's love and light. Yeah, absolutely. Gabby, prayers for Gaia, for Ruth and her family, and for all that need uplifting. Thank you. Thank you, Gabby. What a beautiful morning with you all. This has been just absolutely uplifting today. I started it out with what's out there that's positive, and we kept it positive. We kept showing love. We kept showing up right here for each other. Thank you. Yes, Joanne, I love that. I love Aurora. So Aurora Rose, thank you. Stacy, prayers for Mother Earth, for all the people who are feeling anger or sadness. And Stacy, let's put your best friend in there for her to be lifted up by all of us today, for us all to surround her with our beautiful arms of love. And thank you, prayers for Ruth and her family. And let's pray and set an intention today. Ruth has written some beautiful, beautiful words about the experience of losing her mom. And in her writing, she's encouraging people to pay attention to your actions, that somehow, even though the facility wasn't shut down to outsiders, anybody that might have brought in Aurora Rose, that somehow it still happened. And her mom did contract the disease, the virus. And she's encouraging people to pay attention to their actions, to wear the mask, to do the social distancing, to be safe. And her words were so beautiful that she wrote. So I'd like to set the intention that those words be seen virally by millions and millions of people. So I encouraged her to contact Rachel Maddow at MSNBC, and hopefully Rachel will pick up the story of Ruth's mom and what happened there at the facility. And Pachetta says, special thanks of gratitude prayers for my dearest fairy Teri ma'am for tomorrow, today, and yesterday. Ma'am, you are the best. Prayers of love for Ruth, prayers for my dearest family, and love you all so much. Love you, Pachetta. Thank you for being part of us. And Sally says, prayers for all the small town businesses, for everyone in the group to stay on their feet, for Teri to continue receiving guidance, and yes, for Ruth to be able to go forward from here with little weight on her shoulders. Thank you. Okay, well, let's go into our prayer time. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for your love. Thank you for loving each other and for finding positive in moments where it's so hard to find. It is so hard sometimes to find that rainbow. All we see is the rain, all we see are the rain clouds, but there's a rainbow there somewhere. And so let's look for it. Let's open our eyes and look for the positive. I encourage you today to do the scavenger hunt like I did and say, who's sharing some positive out there today on Facebook? Who's putting on social media something that is so uplifting and so beautiful that it makes me smile, it makes me giggle, or it does something to raise my vibration? Let's look for that today, all day long, to stay focused on what is good in the world, what can be good, what can go right. And anytime that you see that word of the virus, because everybody's saying it, let's change that word. Let's change it to Aurora Rose, and let's bring love and light to surround it so that it's transmuted to beautiful, positive energy. So let's go into our heart center right now. Just feel into the energy. There's so many here that have experienced loss, so many that have experienced pain and illness. And let's just hold each other in our hearts. Breathe into your heart center. Feel that beautiful love that's in there. And breathe it back out into the world. Keep sending out love. Keep sending out positive. Keep smiling. Keep that smile on your face. Not a fake smile, but a smile that says, I am a spark of the divine. I am pure love and light. And that is what my world is consisting of. So if I'm going to focus on anything today, I'm going to focus on the positive. I'm going to focus on shining a light into the world instead of bringing in more darkness and more fear and more anger and hatred. I'm going to bring in peace, love, and joy into the world. And every person that I see, I'm going to see them surrounded by that light and covered with that beautiful rainbow promise. The promise that everything is working perfectly. Let's see that. Let's see that in the rainbow. Anytime that you see a rainbow, say those words. Everything is working perfectly. I feel our beautiful Kuan Yin with us today. She's been so present. She's filling our hearts with compassion, with more love than we could even imagine, with so much love that we can surround the energy in our planet with that love. We can surround everything that's going on, whether it's the fear that the collective is feeling, anxiety, rebellion, anger. We can surround all of that with love because of what's been placed in our hearts, the compassion, the beauty. So as we focus on everything that's going on, and especially this week, when there's going to be more gatherings, there's going to be people that are not safe. There's going to be people that think they're bulletproof and they can't be touched by anything. Let's surround all of them and ask Archangel Michael for their safety, for the safety of us all, for those that are mourning loved ones. Let's hold them in our arms and surround them with light. See a beautiful pink and green glow just covering every inhabitant of the planet, bringing in beautiful energy of love. And let's surround Aurora Rose with love. Let's see the energy surrounded with green and with pink, transmuting it, breaking through that barrier and lifting that energy up. We can change a planet. It takes each of us, everyone doing our part, staying focused on positive, staying focused on what is going right in the world, and bringing in more of that. Let's focus on loving each other, not just the ones that are gathered here, but everyone on the planet, every inhabitant, every animal, all of nature, all of the water. Let's send out a loving energy there. And I'm asking Kuan Yin to help each of us feel that love in our heart. And if our love cup is a little depleted, we're asking for more. We're asking for it to be filled up to capacity and overflowing so that we can give from our overflow. And now let's see each person here standing in the circle, this big circle of love, and see that circle surrounded by angels. Right in the center of our circle are all those prayer requests that were given out today. And we're all going to share love with them. We're all going to see them covered in a beautiful healing green energy and a loving pink energy. Kuan Yin says love is the energy that heals. So let's send that love for healing to everyone on the planet. And those that are gathered together this morning in our little circle, let's all share love with each other. On the count of 3, let's send out love to this beautiful, beautiful family. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. I love you. I love you all so very much. I wish you many, many blessings of love and light. And stay strong, stay positive. Put more positive out for the world to see. If you have something that's good, something that's fun, something that's uplifting, share it. Share it with others. Lift others' energy up. And Joanne says, I do this consciously, post positive quotes and send love out. I know, Joanne, I've seen your beautiful posts and thank you. Hope says, I had a beautiful foster baby years ago named Aurora. Yes, we're lifting up Aurora Rose to be transmuted into positive energy. And Jean says, prayers for all our human family. Give us strength to stay in our high hearts during this hard time. Prayers for anyone in physical illness and love and light to those suffering spiritual weakness. Prayers that the virus Aurora Rose mutates to a harmless energy so we can both live in peace. Absolutely. Thank you all for your beautiful words. Thank you. I love you. Christina, Deirdre, Gabby, Rick, Marianne, Pranchetta, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your love. Stay in your hearts. Stay in your high heart. And let that love energy flow from you. Thank you, Joanne. So much love to everyone. Have a blessed day. And there's Rick and Deirdre. I love you too. You always take us out at the end of each show with the beautiful words that mean that spirit that's in me is the same as the spirit in you. I see, acknowledge, honor, and love you. Namaste, y'all. I'll see you later.